What is up, everybody? I am about to do my final stream before I leave for the spring finals tomorrow. Before I leave, I wanted to do just a quick overview of all of the teams that are going to be competing, as well as some of my thoughts going into the tournament for some of the overall favorites. So without further ado, we can jump right into it. I'm going to be going over the rosters for the North American teams first that are going to be there representing NA. First, you have Method Orange, very strong roster. They've been playing primarily that Windwalker DK setup, bringing in Trill on different classes as well. We saw him play Retribution Paladin, and we see Mez play the Demon Hunter. So these guys have all kinds of different melee cleaves they can run. They're basically the melee specialists. I expect this team to do very well. Mez and Trill had a very strong performance. Sea-Doo, no stranger to LAN tournaments, been to too many BlizzCons to count as well. You know, he's won major ESL tournaments, competed at regionals many times. So the likelihood of this team choking and underperforming is very, very low. I think they've taken it very seriously, boot camped. I expect them to do exceptionally well. Next team, the Rejects. My thoughts about these guys. They had an impressive performance throughout the cups. I think their major weakness is they just don't know exactly what compositions to run and when. I think if they have figured that out for this tournament, they're going to do exceptionally well. I think they have the classes, they have the rosters in order to perform. You know, they're all-star players, have all the good classes you need. I just think sometimes they don't pick exactly what they should. So maybe they're mind gaming themselves. Maybe it's just, you know, not inexperienced in those particular matchups. But I feel like after the last couple cups, they've practiced a lot. This is another team I expect to do really well. I mean, these guys have a lot of LAN experience. Robcub have been at BlizzCon, Roasties to BlizzCon, Jamili to BlizzCon, and then you have Seth Curry. Although his team didn't do well last year at the North American Regionals, he, I would say, had a very strong performance. He played well himself, just unfortunately not the roster to move forward that year. So the Rejects, another team, could do really, really well. And you'll notice a theme while I'm going through these teams. I really feel like almost every single one of these teams has a potential to win it. I don't think there's like a clear favorite to just destroy the whole tournament. Another team, Super Frogs. You have Chanimals, you know, BlizzCon champion. You have Wealthy Man, exceptional player, widely regarded as one of the best players in North America. You have Cubsy, you have Majidin. Cubsy, obviously a phenomenal healer. Majidin, great mage. He's won countless GCD tournaments. Competed at regionals last year as well. So these guys, very strong roster. The only thing I'd say about this team is we've really only seen them play Assassination, Arcane, in tournaments, and I feel like they have so many different comps they can run. If they bring in Chanimals, I mean, depending on what matchups they're going to be playing, I just want to see these guys be a little bit more versatile because they've really relied heavily on that one composition. I know they can play more than that. We'll have to see. Does Wealthy Man come in and play the Elemental Shaman with Chanimals on the Warlock? Is that a strong composition they can run? What do they have practiced and what do they have prepared? I feel like if they've done their homework, done their research, come well practiced, come well prepared, these guys could do well. But if they are just playing that one comp, I'm kind of skeptical because I think teams will have an answer for it. Sneakier Snakes, last minute heroes coming into the last cup, doing a phenomenal job. Dillypoo, Cyfoxy, Casca, and Milkman. We really haven't seen too much coming in from Casca in these tournaments so far. He primarily plays that Shaman team. And some of the notes we got from these guys, they said Casca really comes in as sort of like a coach just because of how strong the Discipline Priest jungle is. They have Milkman healing. Milkman is the wild card for me. He's done a pretty good job in the cups. I think their jungle has looked really, really solid overall. Will he perform on LAN? And that is sometimes that is what determines if the team wins or not, is if you can perform as well online as you do on LAN. And sometimes players can't. If Milkman comes, he plays his best, they're all in sync. I think Sneaker Snakes has a great shot. I think jungle overall is a really strong composition. The only problem is they only have that one composition, so that can be a little bit scary. Unless they have some other stuff practiced that I don't know about, but that's all we've really seen from them so far. So yeah, like I said, I don't know who's going to take the whole thing. I just want to kind of talk through these rosters and give some of my thoughts on them all. So now for the European rosters, we have Skillcat Black. Now, unfortunately for Skillcat Black, Raikou not going to be able to make an appearance for whatever reason. I think he had issues with a visa or something like that. He tweeted out. So Skill Cap Black is actually going to be a 3-man roster. It's going to be Waz, Swapsy, and Chaz. Now, luckily for them, I think this team can still do really well. They don't have Raikou on the Mage or Raikou on the Demon Hunter, and they've heavily relied on that RMP. But I think Waz, Swapsy, and Chaz, these 3 practice together a lot. They play Outlaw, Elemental, maybe Outlaw Enhance, I don't know. I know they play Warrior Elemental. They practice lots of different comps. Swapsy, you know, he can play lots of different stuff. He can play the Retribution Paladin. Waz, obviously a phenomenal rogue as well as multi-classer. And then Chaz, you have basically playing any healer that their team needs. So I think this team, even without Raikou, is really scary because of how well prepared they are, because of how well practiced they are, and because of how serious they're taking it this year. I think Skill Cap Black, even with that 3-man roster, still has a really good chance. Don't forget, Method Orange, just the 3-man roster as well. And I expect them to do very well. Potentially, you know, the favorites for the tournament from the North American side. Just because of, you know, how well they've done in these cups so far. A lot of these teams don't really look like they have an answer for that Windwalker DK and some of the other cleaves that they're bringing. Next up, you have XRB to the Moon. This is a team that they're unbelievable. Just to be frank, I mean, you have Blizzo, plays phenomenal warrior, also brings in the Windwalker monk, had a great performance last year. And Zeepai, when you think of a elemental shaman, you think of Zeepai. We've also seen him play that Death Knight. So in the previous tournament, I think in the 3rd European Cup, we saw Blizzo on the Windwalker, Zeepai on the Unholy Death Knight, and then Looney playing a shaman. So they have that Windwalker DK setup, which is also going to be really powerful for the LAN tournament. But they also bring in lots of other compositions. They have the Thunder, the Warrior Elemental. They play the WLD. Looney, you know, plays phenomenal on all the different healers. I think this is just a rock solid team overall. I think they bring the experience. They bring the skill as well as just a ton of variety and competition. So I think it's going to be, or compositions, I think it's going to be very difficult for teams to really guess exactly what they're going to be playing. So definitely a team to look out for in this tournament. And then Ascendant, unfortunately, kind of like Skill Cap Black, Acro isn't going to be able to make it. Now, I don't know what Valet plays. I wanted to do a little bit more research before making this video, but I think Ascendant's in a lot of trouble. Now, I hope they prove me wrong. I hope they have some stuff that they can run with Valet, Maro, and Ratapai, because it'd be really sad if they go there and they just get crushed because they don't have the rogue. You know, we know Ascendant has an RMP. They're an all-star RMP, and when you don't have a rogue, that just leaves a mage priest. And what are they going to bring in with Valet? What does Valet play? Does he play rogue? I don't know. Maybe. I'm not sure. We'll have to see. Definitely a wild card, but I'm skeptical of this team, and not for any other reason other than, you know, they're an RMP that doesn't have a rogue, unfortunately. Next up, we have Reformed. These guys are a jungle. They had to step in at the last minute and sort of defend their land spot against 85%. Dizio, Relza, Flappers, Gelu, they're good. When I talk to Zico, they say, you know, there's jungles in Europe, and then there's, you know, Reformed. They're just the top of their game. Jungle's a very powerful composition. It's going to be interesting to see who does better, Sneakier Snakes or Reformed. We can see the, you know, the NA jungle versus the EU jungle. Not that I like to make everything NA versus EU, but it is just really, really cool to see the different regions come together, you know, talk strategy. I don't know if these guys, you know, give each other tips, you know, throughout, you know, the North American Cups and throughout the European Cups, trying to help each other win and just feed each other information, because sometimes that does happen where, like, RMPs will group together, or, you know, jungle will group together, and they give each other strategy. So it'll be interesting if those guys do end up playing against each other later on in the tournament. But yeah, really, really strong teams from both regions. If I had to pick a winner, looking at these rosters, my money would be on either Method Orange, XRB to the Moon. I think those are my 2 favorites. In NA, it doesn't seem like many people have an answer for Method Orange's cleaves, but that being said, I think all of these rosters are capable of definitely giving Method Orange a run for their money. And XRB, really, really strong, but Skill Cap Black, even without Raikou, going to be very deadly. Unfortunately for Ascendant, you know, they don't have their acros. And then Reformed, it's going to be kind of interesting to see how they perform on land, because I do think they have a really strong composition, but the only problem is when you only have that one composition. I mean, maybe all you need is jungle, but there's not a lot of room for variety. So if a team figures out, you know, what they can run against Jungle Cleave and do really well with, then it's going to be really difficult for them. But yeah, just wanted to give you guys my quick thoughts. Let me know who you guys think is going to do well and which team you are cheering for moving forward into this tournament. I think it's going to be awesome. We've been able to follow these teams, you know, for the last couple of months, see them sort of evolve in strategy as well as teamwork and stuff. And I'm looking forward to this LAN tournament very much. You can see here's the casting lineup. We got Zico, Healing Stat, Rich Campbell, Super Tease, and myself, and it should be a lot of fun. So definitely stay tuned, check it out. The broadcast schedule is March 31st, 10 a.m. PST, as well as April 1st, 10 a.m. PST, and we're expecting the days to go up to 9 hours. So we'll have to see, depending on how fast it is. Peace out, friends. Thanks for watching. Call it how it is.